Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host of Big and Furry Bovine. We have a special guest. It's very rare that we actually have an in-house guest, to visit the program. And we want to welcome Kevin Durant to the program. And this is what he would look like if he was still in Oklahoma City, folks. Lonesome.
And not mentally ill.
Have you heard about the Lonesome Loser? No. Little River Band. Sorry, Kevin. That's not really. The special guest is live right here, is Tony the Calf visiting Florida. It was really kind of a nice thing to meet somebody face to face who's been with the program for going on 14, 15 years. It really is, so many people I kind of know, but I never get to meet. And then there's this guy who I never wanted to meet, who I got to know. So, all right, Rodney Dangerfield, we ready? We ready for Rodney? Oh, this Tony the Calf. Oh, he's fat. Come on.
Thank you.
No. Come on, you say it. Come on, Brian.
How fat is he?
Oh, he's so fat, I can't even see his toes. Sorry. I promised I would do that. Why I did that, I don't know, but I promised that I would. No, it's great for Tony to be in town, and you're up just up in Brandon, about 45, 50 minutes north of us for business. So that's kind of cool.
Yep.
And you're taking off tomorrow, right?
Yep. Tomorrow afternoon I fly back to the wonderful cold that is Minnesota.
And you're
the minus 50 degrees. Thank
you.
75 here in Florida today. I wanted to start out the program today with one of these feeling bad things. Les Levine passed away. A guy who had been on the airwaves in Cleveland for many, many decades. Most notably on this program was the source of kind of an unfortunate thing that happened between he and I that I didn't mean to have happen, but it did. So I felt terrible when I read about this. I guess a dreaded combination of Parkinson's and diabetes, and gone too young at 74. And just the other day, it'll tell you I'm so out of it. I didn't know the BSK was dead.
Oh yeah, Kendall Lewis. I saw that. He's been dead for
4 years.
Oh,
he died in his sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I
had no idea. But he was only 56 years old. So these things, they too young, too damn young. So at any rate, our sincerest sympathies toward the family of Les, and anything that I did to misbehave in my earlier years, I totally have forgiven myself. All right. And that's absolutely right, Rick. He was unquestionably the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason.
Also gone today is Christopher Plummer at the age of 91.
And it's hard to find a good plumber. And you hate it when you lose one.
Yeah, just look at Jake.
Yeah, it's and Christopher Plummer was, he was in those liquid plumber commercials, so.
And Dustin Diamond passed away. Yeah. His response to his death was to screech.
Well, thank you so much for that. I want to start out with this is like a constant obit program. This is we could sit here. Did Hal Holbrook pass away too?
Yeah.
I like Hal Holbrook. Yeah. Wow. 95. And the good news in all this, a lot of these people are 91, like Christopher Plummer was, Hal Holbrook 95, Hello, Liberty Bell. How art thou? He said in the vaguely Shakespearean way. I want to start out with this story because I know
Liberty Bell, he's so cracked.
Brian has something to say. And we always give Brian a chance. Why I give him a chance, I don't know.
Giving me a chance to speak about what?
LeBron James calls the woman ejected from the Lakers game after heckling him courtside. Karen, you have a real opinion about this, Brian. Don't you?
Listen, if he can't handle criticism from a fucking 25-year-old white girl, he would have never survived in the 80s and 90s with the hecklers that were all over the fucking league then. Especially, there was one crazy nut in Philadelphia who would not only pick on the opposing team, he would pick on Charles Barkley and the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't handle making whatever ungodly sums of money you're raping out of the Los Angeles Lakers, if you can't fucking handle a little heckling, dude, you're too goddamn soft to be a man. I'm sorry. You have officially washed away your fucking testicles.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like the great heckler from Ball 4, the Jim Bouton novel. There was an umpire named Bill Rice, who was a major league umpire, and there was a fan who heckled him. And the guy would follow him around, and they would announce him, and the home plate umpire, and the guy would yell out, "What comes out of a Chinaman's ass?" And it was right. And that's what he did. So, yeah. But I don't see it as harshly as you do, because, first of all, the woman would really, she wasn't white. She's Hispanic. All right. Let's at least tell it like it is.
Well, okay. The picture showed her with blonde fucking hair. So, you know, then she's got the fucking Shakira thing going on.
Blonde hair. What does that mean? What does that mean? But at any rate, if the athlete were, say, not LeBron James, but was like a white guy, would you have the same opinion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you cannot handle, as a professional goddamn basketball player, if you can't handle one heckler or two hecklers who are sitting courtside.
We talking about LeBron bitching?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Wait, you know, Rox, we can do, you like movies. We can recreate
the queen of pissing and whining, who fabricates a fucking hate crime on his house.
This is the final scene in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and here's the fill-up. I don't want to smear up wonderful lip gloss.
Yeah, I forgot the name. Is it Stephanie A. Smith? Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, she is Stephanie A. Smith sometimes, yes.
Hey, did you do what my research project I gave you? You look up Stephen A's with the weed?
I did look that up. And now, while his opinion is stay off the weed.
There you go. There you go.
It's even better with an echo.
Yeah, I know. When you can hear it twice, it's really.
Now, if you put your echo program on it, then it'd be even more mind-numbingly annoying.
Well, you know what bothers me about the whole thing about LeBron James is that these fans in general, shit!
Is Tony at your house?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He's visiting. It's really wonderful. You know,
it's wonderful. All right.
He hasn't eaten dinner yet, so he's gonna may not be so great. You know, the fans come into these games paying a pretty, price for a ticket, and they think they're part of the fucking game. You know, and it's like. I always had a problem with Spike Lee spouting trash from courtside at Knicks games because it's like, it doesn't mean that you can just get loaded. And these two people really had too much to drink and drop F-bombs at the players on the floor. That's not what you're there for. And, I just have a real problem with fans who do that kind of shit.
Yeah, but you know what? You handle it like Reggie Miller did. You grab your nuts at him, and then you fucking go and you beat the shit out of his team.
Yeah, LeBron probably
Mugging the
would've
hell out of
gotten
John
sexual
Starks,
harassment.
stealing the ball, stepping back, and drilling the game-winning shot. That's how you fucking handle that shit.
Oh shit.
Well, look, and I'll be honest with you. LeBron,
Charles Barkley used to laugh at the dude in Philly.
Yeah, no, LeBron uses things as inspiration. When he scored 21 points in the fourth quarter against the Cavs and beat us just about a week ago, it was an assistant guy who was on the Cleveland bench who, when he missed the last shot of the third quarter, was high-fiving people because LeBron missed, and he just took that to heart and buried Cleveland in the fourth quarter. He's the kind of person who uses that kind of shit and manipulates that into focusing his game. He's the wrong person, you know. I remember when they went off on him. Who was it? One of the players' girlfriends who played for the Wizards, I think, was going off on LeBron, and LeBron just tore them a new asshole. I don't have a problem. I mean, if LeBron, you're smart, you just try to ignore it if you can. But if you're drunk to the point where you're dropping F-bombs, you're going to be escorted out of most professional facilities, I think. That doesn't give you the right to do that kind of thing any more than you can flash lasers at people when they're shooting free throws and all kinds of weird shit as well. So, but everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Well, on that tip, I will never etch the free throw curtain from Arizona State out of my fucking mind.
Well, I mean,
no amount of liquor can erase that memory. Seeing oh shit, who's the big swimmer?
Michael Phelps.
In a Speedo wearing his gold medals.
whatever turns you on. And staying with
no, that was not a turn on. That was a run away and hide.
So now Los Angeles Lakers LeBron James has zero energy and zero excitement for an all-star game. We'll ask the panelists, and we'll start with Derek. Should there even be an NBA all-star game?
I mean, I enjoy it sometimes. Like this past year, after the whole, unfortunate situation with Kobe, I thought it was nice to see the players have some sort of a tribute, if you will, using the game. So I like that. But I mean, most years it's just kind of like whatever. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with the Pro Bowl. It's like these guys. Now it's different in the NBA because obviously it's not over yet. But like with the Pro Bowl, you're there to be there. Like it really doesn't matter. I think the NBA All-Star Game, I think it matters more. But as far as should they have it, I'm not sold that they should have it. I think they should have the competition stuff, like the 3-point, the dunk contest. I love all that. But as far as the game itself, I mean, I really wouldn't care either way.
And the thing is, it's like a wedge between the players and the owners, because originally there was going to be no all-star game whatsoever. And now all of a sudden in recent weeks is suddenly they're going to hold an all-star game in Atlanta. And we know that Georgia is having particular problems with the virus there as far as within the population. And, the thing is, it's a lousy game every year because nobody wants to get hurt playing in a meaningless game. And, what LeBron says, I think is true. It's a short off season for the guys who went deep into the season, all the teams that went deep into the season, all the players, and at a short off season of 71 days. That's how long these players had to get their bodies ready just to start this year at the time that they did. And then coming into the season, they were told they were not going to have an all-star game. So you get 5 days rest. And the players, believe me, need to refuel. And this is such a marquee league. You can't just say, no, I'm not going to play in the all-star game. But they kind of sneak this through. And the players who will be playing wanted the 5 days rest to make up for the short off season. And now all of a sudden, with the risk present the fact that they are allowing fans in to see the game in Atlanta in an enclosed area in a high percentage positive state and the short off season. I got to wonder what kind of denial is the league in. It's a stupid idea. It's just a stupid idea. And and LeBron said he'll play in it. His heart won't be in it, but he'll play in the game. But does anybody? I mean, Tony, do you want to see an NBA All-Star game this year?
I don't. I think it's.
So you're saying that he'll treat it like any other regular season game?
Why is there echo? Whoa, hold on. Sorry. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's just give the players a week off. Let them sit in the bubble and rest up for a week. What's really concerning is the NBA is allowing them to travel anywhere in the United States, including Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah, I mean,
which is not the smartest thing to do with this.
Well, a number of teams have already been hit by this.
Yeah.
And you wait until this new strain comes out and it starts re-emerging in March and April. There's a lot. Rox, what do you think? Or Stephanie A., what do you think? NBA All-Star Game, yay or nay?
Do you want to hear from Rox or Stephanie A. Smith?
Stephanie A. Smith, because she has serious opinions.
All right, so that NBA All-Star Game, looking forward to it. There's some tremendous talent there, and I want to hear from all of them. It's hard to talk when there's an echo like this.
Get to hear your stupidity twice, Stephanie. That's the beauty of it. And I would ask Kevin Durant, and this is how excited he is. You can see about the All-Star game. He's just. You notice the sundown
He's
gets
already
closer,
dressed and ready.
harder and harder to see him.
Yeah.
What kind of lighting do you have in this room for him?
There's some type of weird pink bulb in there.
Oh,
Looks like he's at
a brothel.
He's hanging out at a strip club, for God's sake.
Yeah.
In Kevin Durant's second career, he's Magic Mike.
Yeah. Anyway, I never watched the NBA All-Star Game, and the thing that's kind of sad is that Colin Sexton is saying, "I really think I deserve to be an All-Star," and he didn't get it last year. And you look at all the guards in the league that the country wants to see, and even though I think statistically Colin Sexton does deserve to be there, and will probably be the lone Cleveland Cavalier invitee to that All-Star game. But look, I mean, the year that Bradley Beal's having, and just the guards in general in the East, he doesn't stand a prayer against. I mean, he's not going to get votes. Let's just put it that way. So it's important to the player.
It's a popularity contest for the well-known guys.
Well, yeah, and it's like Durant leads the way. Sorry, and that means you have to play, Kevin. You have to play. I know. It's kind of a drag. So I'm not looking forward to it. I never watch it. It's not entertaining. Nobody guards anybody, and it's not real. Yeah, something for Derek that I know that he'll perk up when he hears that the Big Ten releases the revised college football schedule for 2021. And sure enough, the Ohio State-Michigan matchup, as well as the rest of the Big Ten's traditional rivalry games, will be played in the final week of the regular season. That's traditional.
So they can duck us again?
Tradition. Yeah. I mean, that's what it boils down to. So, but that is something to look forward to if you're Michigan, because your season's over after 4 games. Something to look forward to, that last game of the season. Can you pull the upset, or can you play them tough? And will your coach live up to?
Well, they're not going to play the damn game anyway.
Yeah.
They had like 8 tests and we had like 20 fucking plus, and they're the ones ducking us. And their guys weren't even fucking starters.
Yeah. Well, the bad blood will
I don't know if
never
you can
go
hear
away.
me. I'm muffled here anyway.
No, actually, I'm. Wait a minute, Derek. Okay.
There you go.
That if you haven't been around, I haven't done the fast food order thing. What do they call it?
Drive-through.
The drive-through. Yeah, right. Wouldn't it be great doing an entire show like that and seeing how many viewers I could piss off? It would be like
Beavis and Butthead beat you to it about 30 years ago.
I never watched that. I'm far too excited for that.
Hey, Beavis, stick your hand in there.
Here's the next story. Did you say you wanted pickles?
It used to drive me crazy. And I swear to God, maybe good for Dave Thomas at the time when he was still above ground, and good for Wendy's. They were hiring special people at the drive-thrus. They weren't really, but yes, they could have qualified. And so this is what you would end up with. You'd yell into this stupid box, "I'd like a double with cheese and bacon." And the guy would come back and go,
Fish?
I mean, it's like,
Sure.
it's like an automatic non sequitur machine. I mean, it's like, what is the point of me trying to communicate through this foolish thing? So now
I do have a funny drive-through story. Back when I was in high school and
Can you
still
tell
talking to my, I was still at the time talking to my friend Tom, who ended up wrecking my car. We took the muffler off of his Volkswagen Beetle and went through the drive-through at his Burger King, and it was basically the wall of the building and then the wall for the property. It was barely 12 feet. So we pull up to the drive-through, and then he just floors the fuck out of this thing, and all you can hear is almost made the poor kid deaf that was on the other end.
you had to be there.
It was quite funny.
You had to be there. But it is an interesting story because I hated those things so much that I stopped ever going to them because you would end up,
Hey, fuck at the drive-through.
Yeah, it's true. But you throw it in the bag, throw it into your car, and you drive off, and you thought you got a Wendy's double with cheese and bacon and a fucking Frosty, and you look in, and there's one of those chicken fucking sandwiches that looks like it got run over by a tractor.
Everything went wonky on my end.
Wow, what happened?
I got disconnected, I think.
Having trouble connecting?
See if you're connected still.
Am I? Are we still connected? No.
Make sure you're connected.
Oh,
The writing's on the wall.
but Tony. Uh-oh. So you can hear me, but can anyone else hear me?
I don't
Derek?
know. Derek went to just his
I can hear you.
little.
We're back.
I'm in a drive-through right now.
All right. The phone is frozen.
That's right.
I wonder if we got a blip here, or some kind of a little burp because there's 3 of us utilizing the Wi-Fi. That's a little different.
I'm getting a coffee.
Yeah. Here's quarterbacks. The quarterback question, which will always be forever associated with the game of football. Which quarterback at this point would you rather have? And they have a listing of, who they think, in order of 1 through 35 are. Out of interest, Marcus Mariota is number 35, and Carson Wentz is number 34, and who they think is going to play the most. Then Cam Newton, and then Daniel Jones, and then Gardner Minshew. This is from the bottom up. But it's mainly the middle area who would you guys rather have right now? Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, or Joe Burrow? And I think that's an interesting group of guys. Prescott, Allen, Herbert, Mayfield, Jackson, Kyler Murray, or Burrow. Who would you rather have and why? Who wants to jump in?
I'm going to go with Justin Herbert based on what he did with a terrible team and his age. Josh Allen would be a close second. And then I'd probably go with either Baker Mayfield or Dak Prescott. You can reverse those two.
I mean, so is everybody like really sold on, Josh Allen? It'll be interesting to see if this was a one-off brilliant year or if he's really going to be everything he looked like he could be. Brian, of that bunch, who do you like?
Well, I would say Josh Allen's probably playing the best out of them, but he's also had the most time in the same system. So, I would take Burrow over Herbert because he had absolutely nothing to work with and was competitive in damn near every game.
Well, I mean, Herbert would have won a bunch of games if Lynn knew how to coach. I think Herbert really surprised the hell out of me.
He did break the rookie record for touchdown passes,
which was Baker Mayfield's before.
And tied with Peyton Manning.
Right. And, and Lamar Jackson, the thing is his stock dropping just because the coach there just refuses to upgrade the offense. Is the reason he is refusing to upgrade the offense is because he's a defensive coordinator guy and he just doesn't know any better? Or does he know something about Lamar Jackson that the rest of us don't know?
Well, Harbaugh's a special teams guy.
I've always looked
that's
at
why.
him as a real defense first guy. I mean, the idea is really odd to me that they could go through last year and look at their offensive scheme and think that they can continue running this. I see Jackson getting into trouble. I mean, getting hurt. That's what I would be afraid of, because teams are figuring this scheme out, and more of them are.
Well, and they did have a major loss on their offensive line too. So that was some.
You're always gonna look at the Browns. The Browns could have used that excuse. We have so many offensive linemen missing during the course of the season. It was crazy. Playing games with not even third stringers, but guys who had to be brought up from the practice squad.
And your
but what happened when Joe Thomas
starting
retired?
left tackle in the playoff game?
Yeah. To me, you got to have a little bit more diversity in your offense than just throwing the ball to Andrews. And I know that Marquise Brown would probably second what I'm saying. It's like there's not enough verticality. And I know the big play capability with that quarterback is just way out of sight. I mean, open, broken field running, he's really great. But, man, somebody hits that knee and he's gone. That team's in the shitter, in the absolute shitter, because it's not developed anything else.
And we don't mean the fake injuries.
Right. I mean, I think he was in a world of shit, wasn't he? But again, it's like the Roethlisberger thing. If you don't have a backup quarterback in the NFL, you're in a bad position. And if you're weak on the offensive line, Cincinnati's going to find this out if they don't take care of their problem. That really fine young quarterback is going to have a shortened career, because a lot of these guys, I really thought, and I'm not going to tell you that Tim Couch could have been a great quarterback, and he could have been a whole lot better than he was. I mean, he just didn't have a prayer. He did not have a prayer playing with guys in 19.
Well, and at the end, he didn't have an elbow.
Well, that's it. I mean, he honestly, they fidgeted with his mechanics and coaches who didn't know what they were doing with runaway trains, guys who should not even have been in the NFL on the offensive line. Poor guy was traumatized. And I don't want to see that happen to Joe Burrow because he's real, and Burrow isn't a runner like Lamar Jackson's a runner. He can scramble and get yards, but man, you really don't want to take that chance. I mean, Herbert can run with the ball too. Technically, you don't want to take that chance. Same thing with Allen. He can run the ball, but the more you see the chunk plays getting made, it's like, I don't need to take that risk with my quarterback. And Baker Mayfield really reined him in and said, yeah, you're not going to go running down the field very much. We don't want to see you scramble it around back there. Get rid of it. Throw it away if it's not there. There's always a chance for a bigger play next down. So I don't, for me personally, looking at, which quarterback I would rather have, oh my God. I mean, it wouldn't be Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray looks first to me. Burrow, I think
you have to with Murray. You have to have a very specific. He's like Lamar Jackson. You have to have a very specific system in place.
Yes.
In order to take advantage of him. So to me, Cliff Kingsbury is the right coach for Kyler Murray.
I think you're probably right about that. But the question is with Kingsbury is he going to be where he was in college? He's going to piss people off eventually. That's what you wonder about the situation in Arizona. I think Lamar Jackson is great. I'd rather have Baker Mayfield than Lamar Jackson because I think that if you have a good offensive line, Baker Mayfield's career will last longer than Lamar Jackson if they don't do something to change that.
I think I don't mean to interrupt. It's like such a delay. I got to pick spots when to cut in. But I think once Joe Burrow gets really going in the NFL, if he can get healthy, I think he's going to be potentially a top 5 quarterback because you look at the guys on this list, seems like there's a lot of uncertainty. What you talked about with Kyler, he's obviously has his limitations, although I think he could be pretty special. Lamar, we know he's limited. Baker, yeah, I mean, he's got some improvements to make, but there's a lot of potential there. But I think all around, to me, it's down to Burrow and Herbert. And I think right now, if you said you get a fully healthy, good to go, I'm taking Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow, just the leg. You start out in your first year and you rip an ACL.
Yeah.
You're one hit away from a second one, and when that happens, all mobility goes down the tube. Not that mobility is his primary game, but still, that's a worry. Justin Herbert, I think.
Yeah, but Tom Brady had that happen on the first offensive play against Kansas City, the one season, and he's had no knee injuries that I remember since then. So it is possible to overcome it and not have it happen again.
What I really want to see, Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. These two guys are the prototypical big, tall, strong-armed guys who get the ball down the field and really stretch the defense. And I'll be curious as their careers move on, which one of these guys will establish himself as the real big-time long-termer, or if both of them will. But these two guys I group together because they're similar in that regard. Dak Prescott, I'm less impressed with. I get what he can do, but it's not like Dak Prescott has been winning big games. By the way, the 5 that everybody wants, Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Tom Brady, obviously those are easy to say based upon their histories. I do have a question about Deshaun Watson, though. Going to a new system, if that's what happens, or if he's forced to play in a place he doesn't want to play flat out, there's an injury possibility with him as well. My experience is when players can't get out of a situation that they're in, and are forced to play where they don't want to play, bad things happen. And I hope that does not happen to Deshaun Watson. He's a fine quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, really, he's been a wonderful quarterback, but he's getting up in age. Russell Wilson is a guy who kind of has been leaped over because of Mahomes. And, the younger crop of quarterbacks, maybe people are talking more about the other guys than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a fine quarterback. He doesn't have as dominant a team around him as he had a couple of years ago. So, and where does Baker Mayfield fit into this whole thing? Very competent, very competitive. And what I hope is that as he gets more and more comfortable with the system, just like Bernie Kosar did, be able to audibilize and be able to maybe get out of some of the play calls that are a little bit questionable sometimes from the offense on offensive side of coordination and head coaching. And we're not seeing any of that from him yet. And maybe eventually they'll allow that to happen as time goes by. Matthew Stafford doesn't excite me. Ryan Tannehill, he's been much better than anybody thought. But this is the real vast middle that we're talking about. The Staffords, the Tannehills, the Derek Carrs, the Kirk Cousins, the Matt Ryans. And now suddenly Ben Roethlisberger is cast into the pit of doubt.
Uh-huh.
So, he falls into that middle range as well. So, something for you, Derek. You still with us?
He's waiting for his drink, I think.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay, good. All right. There he is.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just waiting in the drive-through. I can hear you, so just talk.
All right.
I'll have to
Excellent.
respond in a minute.
I think everybody knows that this is going to be a pretty good wide receiver draft, starting with Devontae Smith. There are, and even the NFL Network has 5 quarterbacks in their top 50 overall prospects, 15 wide receivers in their top 100 overall players. And oddly enough, the linebacker position, which is what the Cleveland Browns may very well need the very most, is not a first-round kind of group. However, there's a lot of depth there. CBS Sports has only 2 linebackers in its top 25, but 9 in its top 100. There should be a guy at 26 for the Browns if they're so inclined. That position is an important one. Also, there's going to be some talent on offensive line as well, which we are less interested in, but other teams around the league most certainly will, and I would urge the Bengals to start looking in that direction. So,
Yeah, interior offensive line in this draft is going to be very deep.
Yeah, that's what everyone is saying. And then somebody wrote to me, and I didn't have an answer about where everybody is at in the NFL with a 17-game schedule, a 3-game preseason instead of a 4-game schedule, and adding a 17th game. And, according to the NFL.com, which I guess is the best source we can go with, and this was reported in late December that I could find, the official announcement won't be made about this until all media contracts are renegotiated to accommodate this extra game. I mean, this is business, folks, and it's got to, you got to pay the band if you want to dance. And it may be weeks and months before we know who might be a potential 17th opponent for the Cleveland Browns. So, but it looks to me as if they're actually going to do the 17-game regular season, which I think is a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
Yeah, I'd rather see it go the other way and cut back to 14 again.
And I'll tell you what I would really like. I mean, after this year where there was no preseason games, no practices or anything, we still saw really good football. You just don't need to be losing players in fucking preseason, you know? It's for the guys who are trying to make the team, but for God's sakes, you don't need to be putting live ball people out there. You know, and as it goes on, these preseason games are starting to look more and more like the NBA All-Star game because nobody wants to get hurt in this kind of game. It's not a good thing. So I'm hoping, and I don't think you're ever going to get them to drop below 16, but, you know, I don't think you need 4 preseason games. I could make the argument that you could do with 2 preseason games and get on with it. You know,
Hey, Moo, did you get to see the Senior Bowl at all?
No, I did not.
I thought, not that it matters, but I can't remember the guy's name, but a guy we might look at later, the corner out of Minnesota. I don't know if Tony knows anything about him. I can't remember his name, but he's a big, lengthy guy. I thought he played very well. He could be a guy that we could get maybe late, 3rd, 4th, whatever.
You know, it's hard to tell. You know, I don't have a body of work. You know, I always wait until they really trim it down because I don't have a body of work to sit and watch. And I'm not interested. I'll be honest. I'm not interested enough in this to sit there and look at film of every single possible player so I could find that one diamond in the rough so that 10 years from now I can say, well, I was right about that guy. You know, you know who I was big on as a surprise player, Brian, was Andy Isabella. How did he wind up doing?
Let me see.
The
He's all right.
Division III guy, UMass guy. I mean, I saw him playing, and I saw that he was, you know, being used on 3rd down. I don't know how much, how effective he would be, but there were questions.
Well, but they had Christian Kirk. They had Larry was still playing pretty well. The tight end came into play. So let's see. He had 224 yards and 2 touchdowns. He doubled his touchdowns.
How many receptions?
Let me pull up the full cards.
Hey, but remember going back to that when we were talking about receivers before we traded for Odell? Remember, Brian, you were talking about us getting Terry McLaurin later, and that would be a good guy to get for special teams. Look at what he's turned out to be.
Andy Isabella was 6th in receptions on the team. He had 21 catches for 224 yards.
Well, I mean, you know, that's.
But DeAndre Hopkins had 115.
Yes.
So I mean, he's on a skewed deal. And Kenyon Drake, the running back, actually had 25 catches. So.
Yeah, well, they were lining Isabella up in the backfield sometimes on 3rd down, actually, to go out in the patterns because he's small, but he's swift, and he's got really good hands. But, you know, to ask me who is going to emerge from this sea of humanity as the prized players that nobody saw coming, I leave that to the draftniks because they love doing it, and they got all the time in the world to do it.
I see why you were following him. He's an Ohio kid.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who are really into that. And when things start narrowing down, it was just like, you know, we had the Greedy Williams conversation, Derek, and, you know, you were all in on Greedy. All right. And I would say that there is nothing that we've seen.
That's a fucking deer. Holy shit. Woo, that's cool.
Oh.
So we watched
Yeah,
Derek
please
hit
don't. Please don't run into the
Sorry.
animals.
I'm glad Bambi's okay.
So you
Go
know,
ahead.
I don't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's so Greedy Williams. You were like,
Although that would be fucking hilarious to have a fucking live animal come crashing through the windshield while he's on the air.
yeah, that would really be neat.
Oh shit.
But the whole Greedy Williams thing, you were sure he was a first round pick, and I'm telling you, no, he's not going to go in the first round. He's going to go below that because he's dropping like a rock. And we ended up getting the guy that you wanted to get, and we still don't really know, except that he's brittle, like peanut brittle, and he wasn't outstanding in the time that he played on the field.
I think Greedy, I still have some faith in him. It's definitely, he hasn't turned out to be nearly what I thought. But I think he's just been injured so much we haven't gotten to see enough of him. So I think maybe if he had more developmental time, he could be all right. But problem is, I mean, his first year, his knock coming out of college was tackling. I thought he tackled all right. I just think the question is, can he stay healthy? If he can and he can learn the system, maybe he can turn out to be what I hoped. But, I mean, it's like I talked to you. We're in the market for a corner.
His weakness was that he couldn't hit and he wasn't physical. But that's not what I saw. I was not really impressed with his coverage skills in his rookie year, but he actually tackled better than I thought he would.
And his coverage was supposed to be his skill set. If you go back and watch his college tape, he was all over guys. So it was kind of surprising.
He was supposed to be a human turnover machine. He was a guy who was going to be around the ball. That was the whole thing about him. And the question was whether he lacked the physicality to play at the next level. And he might for injury reasons, but I saw no indication of him being a ball hawk. Let's put it that way. So you never know. So I leave it to people who know.
I'd like to see him get healthy and get more time on the field.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, it's not like we're going to give up on him. And especially with what we had to play through last year, he's definitely going to be called upon if he can get back from the nerve injury. That's, that's the big question. Well, I mean, I'm looking at where I want to go here, and I think maybe I should ask a question of Tony, seeing as I'm all the way down here. Eddie Rosario, all we know about him from Cleveland for the Indians is that he hit the hell out of the ball against the Indians, and he hit very well at Progressive Field. What are we really getting in this guy?
He's a decent hitter. He's got some pop in his bat. He's a pretty good defender. The problem is he has been pretty good the past couple of years, and it's gotten to his head. He hits around 270, 280, 290. His on base percentage is about 300.
Streaky and strikes out a lot, isn't he?
Yeah, but his success has gotten to his head, and he thinks he's worth more than what he's really worth.
1 year, $8 million is what.
Yeah, gotta be careful.
A 1 year deal, and that's it. And he's the guy who's going to be our power hitting outfielder. God help our souls. And when you walk away from the offseason, and that's basically all you have to show for it, not exactly the best thing in the world. The other thing was interesting is Heath Hembree being given a minor league option for the Indians. He used to pitch for the Red Sox, and then later on he had some good seasons, but now he's 32. He was originally drafted by San Francisco, and he says that he understands and wants to understand more about analytics and pitching. He feels the Indians are ahead of that game, and nobody can doubt the fact that the Indians have developed pitchers exceedingly well. And but He was 7 seasons in Boston. However, in a midseason trade to Philadelphia last year, it all went to hell in a handbasket, and then a sore elbow shut him down. They say he's healthy at 32, and the Indians need all the help they can get out of the pen. This is one to keep your eyes on. The Indians have a way of parting with players at the right pitchers at the right time. And you can see Corey Kluber is being a good example of that. And there's what the hell's going on out here?
I'm Pat Sajak. He's Van Hoyt.
Oh God. The
yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on here.
but
I'm your private dancer.
Oh, be closer, tiny dancer.
we got fortunate in one respect. I mean, Clevenger, we got rid of and his arm went. You know, we're actually bringing Brian Shaw back out of respect from on a minor league deal, and his career evaporated in the elevated air of help me here of the Rockies in Colorado.
Yeah.
So they're giving him one last look. See, we ran up his innings so high, I don't think his arm could ever be the same as what it once was. But by and large, the Indians have made these really good moves with pitching, and maybe Henry will be the next example of that. We got rid of a Hand, which I'm all for. Brad Hand, I think, is damaged goods, and I think he's going to prove it next year. He has no jump left on his fastball, and it's no different than now we're going to see. And it's kind of harsh with Carrasco. You know, it's such a brave story, but we'll see if Cookie ever becomes what he thought he was going to be in Cleveland, and whether we can develop in a Tristan McKenzie or somebody of that nature, the next young, Shane Bieber. So we'll see, but we need bullpen help. Right now, the bullpen looks nasty, just nasty. That's, I guess, that. And then this, while we're talking about ex-Indians, do you know that Trevor Bauer now, he signed with the Dodgers?
Yeah, after psyching out the Mets.
Yeah, he's going to be Major League Baseball's top earning player in 2021 and 2022. Can you believe this?
He's not even that good.
I mean, it's crazy. A 3-year, $102 million deal.
Jesus.
And he has opt-outs after years 1 and 2. He's going to make $40 million next year and this year and $45 million in 2022.
Jeez.
I mean, do you know how much money that is to put into a pop bottle like this?
Oh.
I mean, I'd like to tell you that Trevor Bauer is the best pitcher I've ever seen. He's not. He's not like Shane Bieber dominant. He doesn't have the control. He still throws too many pitches, and he's got a weird head on his shoulders. But that's the guy. He's going to get paid more than right now for next year than the Pittsburgh Pirates' entire payroll, the Orioles' payroll, and the Indians' payroll. Although the Indians, they say they're $36.5 million now. They're going to go up to 50 by the time the season begins, so it goes. And Bauer's 30 years old. And he had a very good shortened season, but something that we know, he's been hot and cold.
He's going to have a very good shortened career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at 30 years of age to invest that kind of money in that short a deal where a guy has opt-outs, and he's just goofy enough that he would exercise his opt-out. Very, very peculiar. But at any rate.
So what do we think is going to happen in the big game on Sunday?
I can tell you off the top, Chiefs, and I think Chiefs are going to win big. I think the Chiefs are going to blow them off the field. I don't think it's going to be close. I think we're looking at one of these 38-20 kind of games. and they'll get a respectable touchdown at the end. I don't see Tom Brady having the running game to control the clock to keep the 40 points off the boards for the Chiefs. I just don't see it right now. What do you think, Tony?
There's something about this. It's in New England or it's in Tampa. The Bucs are playing. Tom Brady's maybe last year in the league.
Yep.
There's something about it. I can't put my finger in it or on it for that matter. I think the Buccaneers are going to pull it off. I just really do. I think by hook, miracle, hook or crook, maybe a few questionable calls, the Buccaneers are somehow going to pull it off, and Tom Brady is going to ride away into the sunset.
Well, all right, Brian?
I'm with you. I think the Chiefs are going to win, but I do think it's going to be a lot closer. It's going to be like 8 or 9 points, like 35-26 or 35-27, something like that.
All right, and Stephanie A. Smith, who do you got in the big game?
Well, I do have to say that I believe that the Buccaneers are going to pull it off. And I think the score is going to be close.
So what score are you picking?
I'm going to pick 28-24.
And you're going Tom Brady. You know, I hope it is a close game because for all the people who are spending advertising dollars in the game, I hope that it's a close game. I just can't for the life of me, having watched these teams play all season. I mean, anyone can have a bad game. Mahomes might come out and just stink the joint up. Who in the hell
You
knows?
won't get injured, and all of a sudden Alex Smith is in it, then it's
You just don't know.
Yep.
You don't know what would happen. But there's too much speed. I don't see that Tampa has the speed to stay with the wideouts, and they will hurt you with the running game too. The Chiefs have the ability to carve you up that way because you're so concerned with everything else that they run. They start running end arounds to Tyreek, and you're going to end up chasing people all over the field. And then, as if that's not enough, you have a quarterback who can run with the ball, or you have a quarterback who can pretend like he's going to run and has incredible chemistry with his wide receivers. It would be hard for me to believe that Tom Brady would be able to put up enough points to really keep up with this. But we'll see at 6:30 on Sunday. And who's singing the national anthem? Do we know?
I haven't heard. I know The Weeknd is doing the halftime show.
I heard it was Billy Idol.
Well, that would be better than Billie Eilish.
Oh, what is it with her? What is it?
I don't know.
That's kids these days, man.
No, I mean, it's like I never heard of her before. Then all of a sudden, it's just like, I'm bathing in her. I don't know. How the hell that happened?
Singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl.
Demi Lovato. All right.
Mm.
I thought Stars thing. Wasn't she a former Mouseketeer?
No,
I know
she
has
was
the-
on Disney Channel, but not a Mouseketeer.
Oh, she was a Disney Channel kid?
Yes,
I know she has a.
that was the source of her mental break.
I know she has a yoga pants commercial.
You know what I wanted was the halftime show to be Lord. So she could sing
Royals.
Yeah, she could sing Royals. That would be the half. Like, good night, everybody. It's like, oh man. And
No,
who's-
I think the special request would be My Team or something, whatever
is
the hell
that?
that song is.
What? What are you saying?
who is the halftime performer?
The Weeknd.
Who in the hell's that?
Some modern
Who knows?
hip hop artist.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going diversity.
Yeah, his name is spelled WKND.
Oh,
I made a Google mistake.
what?
The national anthem will be sung. It'll be a duet between Jasmine Sullivan and Eric Church.
Oh yeah, Eric Church.
I don't even know who these people are. I'm old.
I think Jasmine Sullivan's the girl that wrote that poem at Joe Biden's inauguration.
I don't think that's her.
I know she's reciting her poem again.
Oh no!
Yeah, I did see that before the game.
Oh, make it stop! I had trouble
Just
making-
what you voted for.
No, I mean, we're talking about diversity. Let another poet read their poem. I don't want that thing over again. God, it was like, is this ever going to end?
Yeah.
It was like listening to Left Eye,
Oh, Jesus.
I seen a
poetry.
rainbow yesterday.
Be careful, you could end up with all of your shoes in the bathtub on fire.
Yeah.
That would be great. Oh my God. Well, I got to get out of here because the grill is warmed up and we're going to eat. And then Tony has to drive himself all the way back up to
Yeah.
the area. So, yeah, this is a good idea before we go, Rick May. That's like, oh, say, can you see by the daughter? You know, I did Tom Waits.
Oh, I thought that was the Cookie Monster. I'm sorry.
They're about the same. I mean, Tom Waits. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, I don't know if you've never heard Tom Waits sing. Just go on YouTube and pick out any of his songs.
Or better yet, don't. Just don't.
Yeah, and try to remember what the tune was the next day.
You're better off listening to Cookie Monster. At least you'll laugh at something.
One
cookie, two cookie, three cookie for me.
Yeah. In honor of Les Levine, I almost said Levin again. Of all the shows you've ever done, this was the most recent.
Yeah, he was famous for his punning. So yeah. So I don't know what I'm famous for. I'm just famous for angering people. Thanks everybody, and special guest Kevin Durant. Thank you for remaining silent. That's the way we like our athletes. And Tony the Cat. Hey, it's been great having you here.
Yeah.
And you got a cousin Morty coming up in just probably about 15-20 minutes.
Yes, we are cannibals tonight.
That's
Yeah.
the news key, and thanks for stopping by.
And I'm going to change the name of this panel to the Fat Boy Lunch Club. That's what I'm going to change. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
As
We'll
long
be
as
back.
it's not Nambla, I think we're okay.
Yeah, have fun watching the Super Bowl. Enjoy your party. Enjoy your beverages. Stay home. Don't be driving. Stay home with your fiestivating and enjoy the game. And we'll see who won, and we'll talk about it come Monday at 6:00. Until Monday, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.